Welcome to my CS50 Introduction to Cybersecurity final project. I'm Juan Bautista Pons Jimenez. Today is June 11, 2025, and I'm presenting from Malaga, Spain. My edX and GitHub usernames are both bodypons. I chose the UNC6040 Vishing campaign against Salesforce because it shows how attackers can leapfrog multi-factor authentication and OAuth with nothing but a persuasive phone call, perfectly echoing our modules on social engineering, authentication, and third-party app security. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll cover background on UNC6040 and Vishing tactics, how Salesforce's security model works with MFA and OAuth basics, a concise breakdown of the June 4, 2025 attack steps, impact on the victim organization and immediate aftermath, lessons learned and concrete recommendations, and a forward-looking conclusion on emerging threats. UNC6040 is a financially motivated threat cluster tracked by Google Threat Intelligence since mid-2023. They specialize in vishing, voice phishing, targeting high-value cloud platforms like Salesforce. Think of them as social engineering specialists who pick up the phone instead of sending phishing emails. Over recent months, they've tricked employees into granting access by impersonating IT support, all without exploiting any software vulnerability, just human trust and urgency. Their operators research targets via LinkedIn and other public sources so their calls feel authentic, making it likely the victim won't hang up mid-conversation. We often hear about email phishing with malicious links, but vishing is more personal, a real-time phone call. With email, filters and scanners can block many threats. With vishing, the attacker creates urgency and authority by sounding like legitimate IT support. For example, your Salesforce account shows suspicious activity. We must verify now or you'll lose access. That pressure can override caution. Caller ID or voicemail protections rarely prove reliable, and a convincing voice can bypass those. UNC6040 combines this with careful reconnaissance, knowing names, roles, and processes, so the victim believes the scenario, making vishing extremely dangerous. Salesforce has required multi-factor authentication, MFA, for admins since 2021. The idea: after username and password, you supply a one-time code from an authenticator app. That makes stolen passwords alone insufficient. However, if an attacker convinces you to read the one-time code aloud over the phone, MFA's protection evaporates. This illustrates a key CS50 lesson: social engineering can defeat even strong authentication. Always handle MFA codes carefully, never share them verbally, because attackers will exploit any lapse in procedure. Salesforce uses OAuth 2.0 for third-party integrations. Normally, a user logs in, navigates to connected apps, and approves specific scopes for an app like My Ticket Portal. Under normal circumstances, this is fine if scopes are limited. But if an attacker already controls an active session, via stolen credentials and MFA code, they can create or approve a malicious connected app without a fresh MFA prompt. That app then holds an access token, sometimes with a long-lived refresh token, granting broad API access. With that, attackers can exfiltrate data at scale. This chain highlights why strict OAuth scope management and re-authentication policies are essential. On June 4, 2025, UNC6040 targeted a mid-sized fintech company, Fintech Co. In late May, they did reconnaissance, gathering employee names, titles, and phone numbers from public sources, noting Salesforce usage and identifying an administrator, Jane Doe. At 9:05 a.m., an attacker called Jane, impersonating Alex from Salesforce support, claiming a suspicious login from a Russian IP and urging immediate verification via a link to a fake setup page. Under pressure, Jane entered her credentials and read her MFA code aloud, handing full access to the attacker. Within minutes, the attacker logged in as Jane, navigated to connected apps, created a malicious app with broad scopes, and approved it, no additional MFA requested. With the malicious connected app in place, Salesforce issued an access token and refresh token with wide permissions. The attacker then used this token to exfiltrate about 50 gigabytes of customer data, KYC documents, transaction histories, proprietary risk models, via API calls to an external server between 9:30 and 10 a.m. They also used the token to discover linked identity providers, e.g., Okta, obtain session tokens, and accessed other services like Microsoft 365 or Workplace to harvest further sensitive data. Throughout, they modified or deleted logs to obscure full activity. By underlining that no software vulnerability was exploited, this shows how phishing plus OAuth abuse bypasses enterprise defenses. The immediate impact on fintech co was severe: 50 gigabytes of sensitive data stolen, GDPR breach notification triggered within 72 hours with potential fines up to 4% of annual turnover, and reputational damage causing client loss and stock drop. An extortion demand for 1,500 Bitcoin, around $87 million, followed days later. Although the ransom wasn't paid, remediation costs, legal fees, incident response, customer remediation, regulatory fines, easily exceeded tens of millions of dollars. Fintech Co. quickly disabled Jane's account, revoked OAuth tokens, removed the malicious app, and engaged forensics, confirming the breach stemmed solely from phishing and OAuth abuse. Within 15 minutes of detection, Fintech Co. disabled the compromised account and revoked all tokens. They blocked attacker IPs and removed the malicious connected app. Forensics confirmed no software flaws were exploited. Remediation steps included enforcing IP whitelisting for connected apps, requiring step-up MFA or password reprompt for creating or modifying connected apps, resetting all admin credentials and re-enrolling MFA for everyone, and rolling out mandatory phishing awareness training with quarterly simulated drills. Their incident response playbook was updated to include a suspected phishing incident procedure for rapid token revocation and regulatory notifications within 24 hours. First, human trust is the weakest link. Even strong technical controls like MFA can be nullified if users aren't trained to question urgent calls. From CS50’s social engineering module, we learn attackers exploit authority and urgency. Employees must treat unexpected IT calls skeptically. Second, strict OAuth policies are vital. Enforce least privilege scopes, require re-authentication, password plus MFA, for sensitive actions even in an active session, and use out-of-band approvals such as a ticketing system before authorizing apps. Third, MFA code handling procedures must forbid sharing codes verbally, use push notifications or separate channels to verify identity. Fourth, robust logging and monitoring. Enable event monitoring to flag unusual API activity, large data exports outside business hours, and integrate behavior analytics to detect anomalies, automatically suspending sessions when thresholds are exceeded. Looking ahead, phishing tactics will grow more sophisticated with AI voice cloning and dynamic bots, making detection harder. Organizations should invest in voice biometrics to verify caller identity before any sensitive action. Implement AI-powered call filtering services to block suspicious numbers. Continue frequent phishing simulations and refresher training so employees feel empowered to verify requests via known channels. Defense in-depth remains non-negotiable. Combine strong authentication, passkeys, FIDO, least privilege OAuth, rigorous logging, and a security-aware culture. As attackers leverage AI-driven calls, proactive measures like voice biometrics and AI filters will be key. In summary, the UNC6040 Vishing campaign against Salesforce highlights that technical controls alone aren't enough, social engineering can undermine them. By understanding the tactics, impersonation calls, OAuth abuse, and implementing layered defenses, organizations can reduce risk. Stay curious and skeptical, question unexpected requests, enforce strict approval workflows, and leverage monitoring to catch anomalies early. Thanks for listening. I hope this deep dive helps you appreciate the importance of human-centric defenses alongside technical controls. Stay safe and keep building stronger defenses for tomorrow.